The twin suns burned hot over the dusty red desert of planet Cora. Wind carried sand across the lifeless ruins of an alien village. It had been silent for days, until a small cargo ship broke the stillness, landing with a low hum and puffs of dust. Marcus stepped out of his ship, wiping sweat from his forehead. A lone human trader. He had come here following an old signal. A possible salvage job, maybe lost tech. He wasn't expecting anything alive. But then, he heard something. A weak sound. A voice. Not loud, but clear through his universal translator. Please, help me. Take them. Marcus turned quickly. Just outside the broken wall of an old house, he saw a tall, thin alien woman. Her skin was pale blue, dry and cracked. Her silver hair was tangled and her eyes glowed softly like two moons. She held two small alien children close to her chest. Both looked sick and afraid. Marcus froze. The woman struggled to speak. My children are hungry. Please, adopt them. Be their father. Before Marcus could respond, her knees gave out. She collapsed to the ground, unconscious, her arms still wrapped around the children. Marcus ran to her. The children didn't move, just stared at him with wide eyes. He picked up the woman and carefully lifted the kids, taking them all into his ship. Inside, he placed her on a medical bed and gave the children water. They drank fast, as if they hadn't tasted clean water in days. The ship's scanner beeped. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, extreme fatigue. Marcus looked at them and whispered, "What happened to you?" He didn't get an answer. An hour passed. The woman finally opened her eyes. She sat up weakly and looked around. "You are not one of us," she said slowly. "No," Marcus answered. "I'm human. Name's Marcus. Found you outside, barely, breathing." "Who are you?" "Selai," she whispered. Was mate of the warrior chief of this village." Marcus looked out the window. The village was nothing now, just broken homes and burnt paths. "Where's everyone else?" he asked. "Gone," Selai said. Her voice cracked. "Raiders came, took everything, killed the strong, left the weak. I hid. My children survived, barely." Marcus sat quietly, letting her talk. It was clear she had seen horrors. "Why did you ask me to adopt them?" he finally asked. She looked at her children, then back at him. "Our law. If a mother dies, and no mate claims the children, they are taken and sold. I do not want them to suffer. You are the only one who came." Marcus stared at her. He had seen many strange customs in the galaxy, but this one hit different. It wasn't about love. It was about survival. Selai reached out, her hand trembling. "I offer you all I have, my bond, my bloodline. Be their father. Be my mate. In name. I beg you, human." Marcus shook his head, unsure what to say. "I'm just a trader. I move from planet to planet. I don't raise kids." She smiled faintly. "Then leave them with food. I will die soon. But they may still live." Her voice broke into a cough. Later that night, Marcus stood alone on the ramp of his ship. The desert wind blew soft and cold. Behind him, the children slept beside their mother. He couldn't shake the image of Selai's face, full of pain, yet still strong for her kids. He thought of Earth, of the war he ran from, of all the lives he didn't save. Maybe just this once, he could do something right. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the console. Motion detected, life form approaching, armed. Marcus grabbed his blaster and rushed outside. Through the dust, he saw a shadow, large, armored, and not alone. More were coming. He turned back toward the ship and whispered to himself, "What have I walked into?" And behind him, Selai's voice echoed one last time. "They're coming. You must protect the children, or everything is lost." The ship trembled as Marcus activated the shields. Outside, 3 raider bikes zipped through the desert, leaving trails of glowing dust behind them. He had seen raiders before, scavengers, killers, thieves, but these looked organized. Inside, Salai sat up slowly, her arms around her. Children. Her eyes locked on the blinking radar screen. They followed the scent of fear. She whispered. Marcus glanced at her. Who are they? Clan Royak, she said. They destroy what they can't own. He looked back at the children. The girl, Kelly, held tightly onto her brother, Tarun, who gripped a dull metal rod, ready to fight even at his young age. They're just kids, Marcus muttered. How could anyone want to hurt them? Selai looked down, her voice low. Because they are the last. As the raiders neared, Marcus took the ship into the air. Dust swirled beneath them. One of the raider bikes shot a pulse blast that rocked the side thrusters. Hold on, Marcus yelled. The ship turned sharply, sending a gust of wind through the cargo hold. Selai stayed still, her calm almost unnatural. Why aren't you panicking? Marcus asked. Selai looked him in the eye. Because I already died once. Marcus stared at her. My mate, my family, gone in one night. My tribe broken. Fear left me with them. Now only my children matter. Marcus set the ship down inside a rocky canyon hidden from the sky. He powered down all systems, masking their signal. For now they were invisible. They shared silence in the dim cargo bay. Marcus poured protein liquid into 3 cups and passed them to Selai and the children. Kelly gave him a small smile. It was the first smile he had seen since meeting them. Selai watched carefully, then said something unexpected. You are kind for a warrior. Marcus laughed bitterly. I'm no warrior. You carry guilt like armor, she said gently. He said nothing. Later, Selai showed him a small stone hidden in her belt, dark green with strange carvings. This is our soul mark, she explained. Given only to bloodlines who carry the promise. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Promise? Selai nodded. A tale from long ago, that when our people fall, an outsider will carry the last flame. Let me guess, Marcus said. You think I'm that outsider? Selai stared at him, deadly serious. I know you are. He shook his head. I'm just a guy with a ship. I trade tools and old parts. I don't even know how to raise kids. Selai placed the stone in his hand. Then learn. They are yours now. That night, Marcus heard soft footsteps. Tarun had snuck out of the sleeping area and was sitting alone holding the same metal rod. Marcus walked over. Can't sleep? Tarun didn't answer. You protecting your mother? Marcus asked. The boy looked up and finally spoke. Protecting you. Marcus was surprised. Me? You helped us. So I help you. Marcus sat down beside him. You're brave. My father was brave, Tarun said proudly. Now he is stardust. I must be like him. Marcus nodded slowly. Then we'll be brave together. Tarun smiled just a little. Then he leaned, his head on Marcus's arm. Marcus didn't move. He just sat still, letting the moment last. Early the next morning, the peace broke. The ship's console lit up. Marcus jumped to the cockpit. Encrypted signal received. He opened the feed. Static. Then, an alien voice. Human ship, you carry stolen blood. Turn them over, or be turned to ash. The screen flashed, coordinates nearby. Then the message ended. Marcus gritted his teeth. They found us again. He rushed to Selai. We have to move. She didn't seem shocked. They won't stop, she said. They want the bloodline gone. Marcus looked at her. Why? Why this bloodline? Selai touched her daughter's face. Because my children are heirs. If they live, our culture survives. If they die, all is forgotten. Marcus stood, still the weight of her words heavy in the air. Then Selai added softer now. You don't have to stay, leave us here, save yourself. He clenched his fists. I don't run anymore. The ship flew low over the cracked surface of a lifeless moon. Marcus held the controls steady, keeping his eyes on the scanner. Behind them, nothing yet. No ships, no signals. But he knew they were still being hunted. In the back of the ship, the two alien children sat close together, staring at a small hologram device. It showed a glowing tree with branches that moved like dancing lights. Salai whispered, "That's the tree of spirits. Our people believed every child came from one of its stars." Marcus leaned against the wall, watching. "That's beautiful," he said. "We had something like that too, and once." Kelly looked up at him and spoke her first full sentence in broken human language. "You, Starfather?" Marcus's heart skipped a beat. Salai smiled softly. "She has accepted you," he nodded slowly, unsure how to feel. This wasn't just a rescue anymore. These kids, they saw him as family. Later, Marcus worked on fixing a loose panel in the ship's engine room. Torun appeared beside him holding a wrench. "You know how to fix engines?" Marcus asked. Torun gave a proud nod. "Father showed me. Before." His voice faded. Marcus handed him a small piece. "Then help me." They worked together in silence. Slowly, something began to change. The boy wasn't just following. He was thinking, learning, asking questions. After an hour, the system powered back on. Lights returned to full brightness. Marcus gave him a high five. Torun looked confused. "It means..." "Good job," Marcus explained. Torun slowly smiled. "Good job," he said back. That night, Marcus shared some of his old Earth food with Salai and the kids: dried fruit, energy bars, water purified by human tech. Salai bit into a red apple slice and looked surprised. "Sweet, like moonberries. From our summer fields." She looked out the window at the dead blackness of space. "My children will never know those fields." Marcus leaned forward. "Then give them something new. Let them know both worlds, yours and mine." She looked at him. "Will you teach them?" "I can try." Salai's voice grew softer. "That is all a good father ever does." The next morning, Marcus found a small metal object under Torun's bed. It blinked slowly, red light pulsing, like a heartbeat. He froze. It was a tracker. He rushed to Salai. "They planted something in him. One of the raiders. It's still active." Salai's face went pale. "That's how they keep finding us." Marcus grabbed a scanner and ran it across the boy's back. There, beneath the skin, near the shoulder, a small, hidden chip. Torun looked scared. "What is it?" Marcus answered calmly. "Something bad, but we'll take it out." He set up a basic surgical tool from his med kit. No pain, no blood. But still, it hurt Marcus more than it hurt the boy. As the chip was removed, Salai said softly, "Your hands are steady, like a healer." Marcus placed the chip into a sealed box and crushed it underfoot. "They won't find us now." But he knew it was only a matter of time before something worse arrived. A day passed. Marcus began teaching Kelly and Torun human words using an old learning tablet. "Sky," he said, pointing. "Ja," Kelly replied with a giggle. No sky, sky," she repeated, laughing. Salai watched them, her eyes filled with something strange, something warm. "Hope." Marcus glanced at her. "What?" "You are already their father," she whispered. "Even if you don't say it." He looked at her. "You talk like we'll always be running." Salai's smile faded. "Because we will, unless what? Unless we make a stand." Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped. Proximity alert. Ship detected. Incoming. Marcus jumped to the cockpit. A large warship had appeared on the scanner, moving fast. Salai joined him. "Their mothership," she said grimly. "They found us again." Marcus looked at her. "Then this time, we don't run." He set the ship down near a broken human outpost on a crater moon. There they'd make their stand. Salai helped prepare old energy weapons. The children hid deep in the cargo hold. Marcus set traps across the narrow entry path, linking them to his remote. He turned to Salai. "We hold them off. Just long enough. For the kids to escape if needed. Selai touched his hand. No, we survived together. Or not at all. Their eyes met. There was no romance, only respect, unity, and something deeper. Family. And as the enemy ship drew closer, Marcus whispered, under his breath, "No one takes my kids." A shadow fell over the crater moon. Marcus looked up from behind the barricade he built with broken cargo crates and old mining gear. The massive raider warship blocked the twin suns, casting darkness over the cracked ground. Selai stood beside him, holding a plasma spear. She was silent, calm, but her glowing eyes never stopped watching the sky. "They're here," Marcus said. She nodded, "And they will not leave without blood." The children were hidden deep in the ship's emergency pod. Torin had wanted to fight, but Marcus made him promise to protect his sister instead. "If anything happens," Marcus had said, "you get her out. You survive. You find peace." Torin's voice had cracked. "But what about you?" "I'll hold the line." The raider warship released small pods that hit the ground with loud cracks. Doors burst open and armored aliens stepped out, tall, cruel-faced, wearing red and black armor. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. The leader, a large figure, with bone-plated arms, stepped forward. His voice came through a loudspeaker, cold and sharp. "Human, hand over the widow and her spawn. You do not know the value of what you hold." Marcus stood tall on the ridge, blaster in hand. "You want the kids?" he shouted. "Then come get them." The alien leader growled. "You protect stolen blood. You will be erased." Without warning, the raiders charged. Marcus fired first, hitting the ground near their feet. Mines hidden under the sand exploded, tossing 3 attackers into the air. Selai moved like lightning, spinning her spear, striking one raider through the chest. They fought side by side, human and alien. Warrior and wanderer. "Nice move," Marcus said, catching his breath. "You're not bad yourself," Selai replied, her face marked with dust and pride. More enemies kept coming. It was a storm of violence. Marcus's arm was hit by a stray bolt. He gritted his teeth and kept firing. Selai took a hit to her side but didn't stop. Her rage was fire now. The leader approached slowly, calm among chaos. He raised his weapon, aiming at Marcus, but before he could fire, Torin leapt from the shadows. "No!" the boy shouted. The leader turned, shocked, just as the child slammed a metal spike into his leg. The alien howled. "Torin, get back!" Marcus yelled. Selai ran and pulled her son behind cover, shielding him with her own body. The leader recovered fast. Bleeding and angry, he raised his blaster at Selai. Marcus acted without thinking. He jumped into the path of the shot. The blast hit him, square in the chest. He fell. Everything went silent. Selai screamed. But as the leader stepped closer to finish the job, Marcus groaned and rolled over. His chest plate was smoking, melted, but not broken. "Earth-grade armor," Marcus coughed. "Thanks, military surplus." He pulled a hidden blaster from his belt and fired point blank. The leader fell, dead. The remaining raiders hesitated. Without their leader, they scattered. Some ran back to the ship. Others fell to the trap still active on the ridge. Within minutes it was over. The battlefield went quiet. Selai dropped to her knees beside Marcus. "You fool," she whispered, tears in her glowing eyes. "You should have run." Marcus smiled, breathing hard. "And miss all the fun?" Later the children ran to him. Kaylee wrapped her arms around his neck, crying. Torun stood proud but trembling. "You didn't leave," the boy said. Marcus reached up and touched his shoulder. "I told you, we survived together." That night, Selai placed a glowing mark on Marcus's wrist using her tribe's old paint. It was a symbol, a spiral wrapped in stars. "This means you are now one of us," she said. Marcus looked at it. "Feels heavy." She smiled. "It should. It means you carry more than your own blood now." They sat in silence under the stars. Marcus whispered, "They came for a bounty, but we gave them a war." Selai nodded. And we gave our children a future. The fires from the battle had faded, but smoke still drifted over the crater moon. Marcus sat quietly near the wreckage, his back against a broken cargo crate, thinking. The wounds on his arm were bandaged, but the pain wasn't gone. Not from the injury, and not from what he had seen. Salai stood a few steps away, holding something strange in her hand. A stone, flat and black, glowing faint blue from the inside. She had never shown it before. Marcus frowned. "What's that?" Salai walked over and gently placed it in his hand. "It is called a heartstone," she said. "It chooses the one who protects the future." He looked down at the stone. It felt warm. It pulsed like it was alive. "I'm not chosen," he said softly. "I'm just the guy who didn't walk away." She looked into his eyes. "And that is why it chose you." Later, while the children slept, Salai told Marcus an old tale. Her voice was low and smooth, like a calm river flowing over rocks. "Long time ago," she began, "my people believed in the starborn promise, that when our kind reached the edge of extinction, a protector not of our blood would rise, one who had no reason to care, but cared anyway." She looked at Marcus. They called him the other flame, a stranger who would become family. Marcus laughed softly. "You think that's me?" "I know it is," she said. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He walked through the quiet ship, stopping at the cockpit. Stars moved slowly across the sky. Alone, he spoke out loud. "I didn't sign up for this," he said, "but now I can't let them go." Then he noticed something blinking on the dashboard. A message. Hidden. Old. He clicked it open. A shaky alien voice whispered through static. "To the next one who finds this, protect the widow. She carries the last bloodline. Her son must live. He is the key." The message ended. Marcus sat still. Tarun is the key. Key to what? The next day, Marcus trained with the boy outside the ship. They stood under a dim sun using old metal rods like swords. "Left, now block," Marcus shouted. Torrin blocked the strike with a smile. "I'm getting better." "You're getting dangerous," Marcus said, grinning. Kelly clapped from the side, cheering for her brother. Salai watched from the shade. Her smile faded as she saw something in the distance. A ship. A small scout. Not raider colors. But she didn't relax. When the scout landed, a tall figure stepped out. He wasn't a raider. He wore dark robes, his face hidden under a hood. Salai froze. "Who is that?" Marcus asked. Her voice was sharp. "A seeker." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "A what?" "A hunter of bloodlines. Silent. Ruthless. He does not serve a clan. He serves the memory of power." The seeker walked forward slowly. Marcus stepped in front of Salai and the children. The figure spoke. "You carry what should have died. Give it to me." Marcus raised his blaster. "You'll have to go through me." The seeker didn't attack. Instead, he placed a box on the ground. Inside was a cube glowing with golden light. It floated, spinning gently. "A gift," the seeker said. "So you may see." The cube opened, projecting a vision in the air. It showed Torrin, older, wearing armor, leading a new generation of Salai's people, standing beside humans and aliens alike. He was not just a child. He was a future leader. Marcus stared in shock. Salai whispered, "The prophecy." The seeker said, "That future will not happen unless you reach the haven." "Haven?" Marcus asked. The seeker nodded. "A hidden colony, deep in the asteroid belt. The last of your kind waits there," he said to Salai. "And the price?" Marcus asked. The seeker answered coldly, "Everything." When the seeker left, the group was silent. The children looked confused but calm. Marcus turned to Salai. "We go to this haven. If there's a place where they can be safe, we go." Selai looked at him with deep sadness in her eyes. You do not understand what you offer. Marcus smiled, weakly. No, I don't. But I offer it anyway. She nodded. Then the promise lives. As the ship lifted off again, Marcus looked at the heartstone in his hand. Its light had grown stronger. He looked at Torun and Kelly sleeping peacefully, and, in that quiet moment, he swore to himself, no matter the price, I will get them there. The stars outside the ship were moving fast. Marcus sat in the pilot seat staring ahead at the asteroid field. Each rock was sharp, spinning, and deadly. Somewhere inside it was the hidden haven, the last safe place for Selai's children. Selai stood beside him, quiet, holding the heartstone in her palm. It pulsed faster now, like it could sense something waiting. We're close, Marcus said. Yes, Selai whispered, but they will not let us reach it. Behind them, 2 small raider ships had picked up their trail. The Seeker's warning had come true. Marcus pushed the engine to maximum speed, weaving between giant rocks and ice. The ship jolted left and right. Sparks flew from the control panels. In the back, Torun and Kelly held each other tight, eyes wide with fear. Don't worry, Marcus called. I've flown through worse. Selai looked at him. Have you flown through death? He didn't answer. A warning alarm beeped. One of the raider ships had locked on. Marcus looked at Selai. We won't make it unless we fight. Selai reached into her cloak and pulled out a small golden key. There's one more weapon, one my people never used. She slid the key into a hidden panel on the wall. A secret door opened, revealing an old alien weapon, a glowing orb full of swirling light. What is that? Marcus asked. Star core, she said. It draws from the life force of the one who activates it. One use, one chance. Marcus stared. It kills the user? Selai nodded. That is the price. Before he could speak, the ship shook violently. A blast from the raider ship struck the rear thruster. Smoke filled the hallway. We're losing power, Marcus shouted. Selai turned to the children. Go to the escape pod. Now, Kelly cried. No, we stay with you. Torun grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the pod. We promised, Father. Selai's eyes softened at his words. She turned to Marcus. You gave them life. Let me give them time. Marcus grabbed her arm. There's another way. There has to be. Selai gently removed his hand. You showed them how to live, Marcus. Now I will show them how to love. With one final smile, she stepped into the control room where the Star Core orb waited. Marcus watched her place her hands over it. Blue light rose around her like fire. Her hair lifted. Her skin glowed brighter than he had ever seen. He shouted, Selai, don't! She looked at him one last time. Tell them I sang under 2 skies. Tell them I was not afraid. And then, she vanished. The orb released a wave of pure light, brighter than a star. The enemy ships behind them cracked, burned, and vanished, in silence. Only Marcus's ship remained, floating gently forward. Inside the ship, everything was quiet now. The alarms had stopped. The stars outside twinkled like nothing had happened. But inside the control room, Marcus stood alone. The heartstone lay on the ground, dark now, its glow gone. He picked it up slowly. She was truly gone. Later, Marcus sat with the children. Kelly was silent, holding her mother's cloak. Tarun's eyes were full of anger and tears. She left us, he whispered. No, Marcus said. She saved us. I don't want saving, the boy said. I want her. Marcus pulled the boy into his arms. I know, I do too. They sat like that for a long time. Finally, the ship's navigation beeped. A soft voice said, Approaching haven coordinates. Welcome, last flame. Marcus wiped his eyes and stood up. He looked at the kids. We made it. As the ship glided through a final asteroid gate, a hidden city came into view. floating domes, silver towers, and glowing trees. The haven, people, aliens like Selai stood waiting. They watched in silence as the human ship landed. Marcus stepped out, holding the children's hands. A wise elder walked forward and placed her hand on Marcus's heart. She gave herself to light, the elder said. But you brought her light to us? Marcus said nothing, just nodded. Kelly tugged at his sleeve. Will she see us from the stars? Marcus smiled, eyes wet. Always. The haven was quiet under the silver sky. Glowing trees whispered softly in the wind. Gentle music came from crystal towers that hummed with peace. Alien children ran through wide green fields, their laughter echoing across the domes. But inside, Marcus's heart, there was still silence. Selai was gone, and yet her presence was everywhere. Marcus walked through the Hall of Echoes, holding Kelly's hand. Torin followed closely, his eyes full of questions. The hall was filled with memory stones, each one glowing softly, playing voices from the past. One stone, marked in swirling gold, began to hum as they passed. It was Selai's. Her voice filled. Broom. If you are hearing this, I did not survive, but that is not the end. That is the beginning. My children are safe. My heart is at peace. To the one who saved them, you are the bridge between stars. Keeley clutched his arm tightly. She knew you would come here. Marcus nodded slowly. She believed, even when I didn't. The elders of the haven welcomed the children. They were given new clothes, food, and a place to rest. But when the elders offered to take them in permanently, Tarun stepped forward. No, he said firmly. We stay with him. Kelly nodded. Marcus is our father now. Marcus blinked, surprised. The words hit him harder than any weapon ever had. You're sure? He asked, kneeling. Torin placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. She chose you. Now we choose you. The next day, a ceremony was held beneath the twin moons. Marcus, wearing a robe gifted by the Haven people, stood with Torin and Kaylee beside. A quiet pool of light. The eldest matron stepped forward with a shining crest. Place your hand on the flame, she said. Marcus obeyed. The moment his hand touched the light, it changed, turning from pale white to deep blue. You are now Flamekeeper, the elder said, protector of her line, guardian of both worlds. Kelly smiled. Torin stood tall. Marcus took a deep breath and looked at the stars. He didn't feel alone anymore. That night, as they lay under the glowing trees, Torin whispered, Will she know we're okay? Marcus looked at the sky. She knows. She's watching, and she's proud. Kelly turned over, clutching Selai's old cloak. I miss her voice. Marcus nodded. So do I, but her voice is still here. He pointed to her memory stone in the distance. And in you. Weeks passed. Marcus began helping around the haven, fixing machines, teaching defense to the young. He didn't feel like a visitor anymore. He felt like a father, like someone who belonged. The heartstone Selai gave him began to glow again. Faint, but alive. It seemed to pulse with every step the children took. One day, the seeker returned. He arrived silently as before, walking through the wind. Marcus stood to meet him. You said the price was everything, Marcus said. The seeker nodded. And yet you have more now than you did before. Marcus smiled. Strange how that works. The seeker placed something in Marcus's hand, a small box. This is her final gift. She left it with me in case you made it. Marcus opened the box. Inside was a carved ring made of star metal, wrapped with a tiny strand of Selai's hair. Message was inscribed in soft alien script, to the one who stayed. Marcus placed the ring on a chain around his neck, not as a trophy, but as a memory, of a woman who gave everything, of children who brought him back to life, of a future he never expected. Years passed. Kelly grew into a bright young scientist, building new machines that combined human and alien tech. Tarun trained every day, learning leadership and strategy. Many began calling him the son of two sons. And Marcus? He became more than a guardian. He became legend. One evening, Marcus sat alone at the edge of the haven. The wind was soft. The sky was full of stars. He whispered, "I kept the promise." Behind him, Torrin approached, now a young warrior. "Father," he said, "the elders wish to name you in the songs." Marcus chuckled. "Songs? I'm not that special." Torrin looked him in the eyes. "You are. To us, you're the man who answered a cry in the dust and gave us a family." Marcus smiled, his eyes shining. "Then I guess the stars got it right." He stood up and walked with his son, both heading into the light of a new day.